Draymond Green is at it again. It feels like this is an annual occurrence. I'm tired of it. I can't imagine that everybody in the Warriors organization isn't tired of it already as well. It's getting really, really old. He got suspended yesterday officially for 5 games, according to Woj in this tweet. And I know a lot of people were like, I was surprised. They were surprised that it was 5 games. They thought it would be less.
Right.
I actually was like, you know what? This would be a perfect time to kind of set the tone. Maybe not a Ja Morant type suspension, but at least like maybe 10 games because I'm done with it. I'm tired of his antics. I'm tired of his whole shtick. He's like trying to be this bad boy on the court, and he's trying to intimidate guys. And he went after Rudy Gobert, who really wasn't doing anything. He was just trying to separate dudes. And then they have beef. We know they have beef. They've had beef since they both got drafted with each other for whatever reason. They've fired shots at each other subliminally on social media. Dre's talked about Gobert on his podcast, right. And they don't have a great relationship. So it doesn't surprise me that Dre kind of took a cheap shot and tried to choke him out. Out of nowhere, I don't know.
To commit murder right in full view.
I'm telling you, man. I know you talked about this on your Sirius Satellite Radio, but what is your takeaway from all this drama?
Well, first I'm gonna go to Steve Kerr real quick. Steve Kerr, people got on Steve Kerr for his comments after and almost like defending it. But what is he supposed to do? Like, if you're gonna defend your guy, yeah. Privately, you might not. You might be more aggressive toward him and all that, but, he's a key player for them. He's going to defend them. So I wasn't tripping on that. But I just think Steve has to calm that when somebody else does something to his players and he says, oh, that's not something you should do. Like Marcus Smart diving onto the ball and he hit, obviously, Steph Curry in the knees a couple of years ago. Or when Dylan Brooks took out Gary Payton II. He called that a very dirty play. He's very demonstrative towards that. But anything that Draymond does, he doesn't say anything. He comes up with a reason why he did it. And I think, again, he needs to calm that. I understand protecting your player. But in this instance, Draymond sees the mission. Like, he sees the reason to go after Gobert. This is the National Push Association, people. They don't fight anymore in the NBA. They don't. You know why? Because they'll lose a ton of money. They don't fight. You saw the precursor to it. All McDaniels and Clay were doing was just grabbing each other. Mm-hmm. They had a chance to fight. Like, initially, they were alone on one side of the court. See, back in the 90s and 80s, it would have been some punches thrown. They would have been going forward. Those dudes danced from the baseline all the way across half court. And not one punch was thrown because they're not going to fight. They know the limitations of what they can do. And so Draymond knows this because he hasn't thrown a punch at anybody. Who has Draymond fought on the court with all the combustion?
I mean, no on one. The practice court or the real court?
No.
I mean, he did punch Jordan Poole.
He stole on him. That wasn't a fight. Jordan Poole didn't know that he was getting ready to punch him.
Explain the difference to our audience.
Can I show him?
You should. No, you can't show them.
Okay. Stealing on somebody is Saul's not expecting me to throw a punch.
Okay.
He and I in a confrontation. He's not expecting that. Pop! Knock him out. Stole on him. Okay? So that's what he did to Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole didn't have a chance. Clay had a chance to steal on McDaniels, didn't throw a punch. McDaniels had a chance, didn't throw a punch because it's the National Push Association. That's what they do. They push each other. They talk. And that's fine. Draymond knows that. And yet he runs over there like somebody's getting ready to maim Clay. Like Rudy Gobert, all Rudy Gobert did was did what he's supposed to do. Unwritten rule. And I know amongst the teams I was on. When it's something that breaks out, you go grab the opponent.
Yeah.
I'm not grabbing my teammate. Because if you in a fight and I come grab you,
might punch,
and nobody's grabbed him, he punches you, and then you look at me like, hey, man, why you grab me?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do that. So Rudy did the correct thing, excuse me, and Draymond did the wrong thing. Draymond ran right across the fight to Rudy because he wanted to grab Rudy because he doesn't like Rudy. He's mad that he took a Defensive Player of the Year from him, as he always says, and he just didn't like him. And he had his opportunity to go grab him. And Rudy did the right thing. You know, look, that was dangerous what Draymond did. Rudy publicly has said that he didn't feel threatened. Of course he didn't, because he knew Draymond wasn't going to go crazy on him because it's in full view of people. But what if he had slipped? What if when he was holding his neck, he fell off balance and then he hurt himself? And that's why I think he should have gotten more than 5 games.
Yeah.
But he's got to stop it, man. Like, it's just getting to the point where obviously he's a perfect example of money, success, and fame does not make you happy. Draymond Green is the perfect example. So for you people out there that always think money is going to make you happy, just look at Draymond. He's always arguing. He's always confrontational. He's always mad. But he's new media. He gets on us, old media, and tell us we're critical. And he rips on players more than anybody in media I have seen. On the court and off the court. He's the biggest hypocrite when it comes to that. And it's just disturbing. Like, it's just, and I've been knowing this kid since he's in Michigan State. I used to call Big Ten games. And I used to interview him all the time. Very nice guy, off the court. He talks the talk right. He loves the game. But he has an anger in him that needs to be addressed. And he has to figure that part out. Because that's ridiculous what he did. I mean, I just can't get over him and how he acts towards officials and just everybody in general. It's just something that he needs to address.
You know, I think with Draymond, I'll say this about him. The same thing that we don't like about him is also the same thing that makes him as good as he is. There's a little bit of a crazy streak inside of him that makes him play the way that he plays. He plays with a passion. You can't say he doesn't. He does play with passion. He plays with anger. He plays with a lot of emotion. And that's what fuels him. But at the same time, when it's not controlled and you can't control it yourself, and I think we are at the point right now, I don't care what he says, that he is not able to control himself in some situations. Instant reaction to things that go over the line, the kick in, to LeBron, the different things that he's done throughout the course of his year leading up to this one. Like, it's just repetitive, and it's too repetitive. And I think at some point, the Warriors or the league, I think the next time is probably going to be it's got to be like a 10, 15, 20, 25 game suspension, because the league's going to be tired of it, and they're going to be tired of the antics. But he keeps getting away with it. He's going to cost them $777,000. That's just out the window.
And he's already paid over $2 million in fines in his career.
So, I mean, almost $3 million total.
He just got to stop. I understand what you just said, the passion being, but look, in between the lines.
Yeah.
Okay. Outside the lines, you don't do stuff crazy. In between the lines, but you still got to follow the rules.
Yeah.
Like, you still have to follow the rules, man. And you can't, like, Rudy Gobert said something, and it does make sense. He says he knew. He said before the game, he said, I pretty much surmised that he'd get kicked out. And if you look back at the numbers, when Steph Curry does not play.
I did hear about this.
When Steph Curry plays, let's start there. When Steph Curry plays in the games that Draymond's got kicked out in his career, only 2% of the time of those games that he's gotten kicked out totally is when Steph was on the floor. So that means he was comfortable, he stayed on the floor, he played his game. When Steph did not play, Draymond's been kicked out 10%. So think about this. A couple of years ago, when they had the worst record in the league and everybody was ripping on him, calling him triple single, what did he do? He pretty much shut it down. he stopped playing. So that goes to show you, like, stop, man. Like, you're a very good basketball player without a doubt. You do what you do well, okay? Good team guy. You can rebound, you defend, all of that. But you got to understand, dude, if Steph Curry wasn't there, you might not be in the league. Like, he's got to understand he's in the perfect place. And I just don't think he gets it, man. I don't. He's gonna make over $200-300 million. And trust me, he should go buy Steph Curry a vacation home. Because if it wasn't for Steph, he wouldn't be making that. So he needs to just calm down, man. I just thought that was out of line. I did.
That's very interesting. I'll ask you this then, since we're going to talk about it, and this has been the subject on social media about this as well. Draymond Green, Hall of Famer, not a Hall of Famer? In my opinion, looking at Draymond Green's career, I think there's an argument to be made because of the championship success. But how much do you attribute that to Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant? Draymond Green, this is what I will say about that. He was kind of the anchor in terms of the facilitation, doing the dirty work. He's got a high basketball IQ when he's locked in. You can't debate that. But to your point, when Steph's not playing, how much of an impact does he really make?
Based on how guys have gotten in the Hall of Fame over the last number of years, he'll probably get in. The way I view the Hall of Fame, like, for instance, and I'll use myself as an example, people. When I retired from the NBA, I was top 30 all time in the history of the NBA in scoring. Top 30. Okay? I've scored more points than probably, I don't know, maybe half, a little bit over half of the guys that's made the Hall of Fame. And when I retired, I didn't think I was in the Hall of Fame. I didn't think I was in, because the way I view the Hall of Fame is different than how these people now are picking people to be in the Hall of Fame. So, yeah, he'll probably get there. But if I was voted, no, he would not. Because I'm going to judge people, too, on how they perform without the great player that they played with when that player wasn't on the court.
Yeah.
That'll let me know how good a basketball player you are. Robert Horry's won 7 championships. Nobody's trying to put him in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and in that respect, Draymond's his numbers don't add up to Hall of Fame. Some kid that's born after Draymond's gone, and they look at his numbers and say, how the heck was he in the Hall of Fame? Mm-hmm. Dude barely averaging over 10 points. Come on. Like, so, yeah. But trust me, when he retired, he's going to be barking there, I'm in the Hall of Fame. I won this, I won that. Yeah, if Steph Curry wasn't there, you wouldn't have maybe been in the league. You'd have been one of them guys going back and forth to the G League. Because he'll never leave Golden State. They did him a favor. Because if he had left there and went somewhere where he was counted on to have to go score, and he was second or third option, and he had to go for it, okay.
No, I don't know. Man, I don't. First of all, I don't think any team in the league would have required him to be the second or third option to score. But with the money he was commanding, that's the expectation that would have come along with it, for sure. So I get your point.